All right, guys, this is going to be another pretty exciting video. Judging by this penny box, you guys probably know we have another penny box from out of state. I apologize for the mess and the coins behind the box here. I'm gonna film the intro. I'm not filming the intro the same day as I do the hunt, so it's gonna look a little different when I set it up. But yeah, this box is actually from Texas. It's from the city of Tomball, Texas, and it's actually crazy how quickly it came. I was really surprised by that. Um, but before I do the opening, I want to say I want to tell you guys the reason why I buy these. And a lot of people might think, well, it's not a really good deal, right? Because usually I pay around $50 to $60 per box, and I'll tell you why. So, first of all, most of the time when I do this, it's with money that's given to me, like birthday money or Christmas money. So it's not my earned money that I'm spending. But so the obviously a penny box is quite heavy, and meaning that honestly, with the prices of shipping these days, it probably costs $25 to $45 to ship, because these, a box of pennies is heavy. It's 2,500 pennies. So not only do they pretty much have to charge that in order to even break even, but I'm okay paying, I'm also okay paying more for a box that comes out of state. And whenever I do, I try to pick boxes like this because I don't get this type of box where I'm at. I don't know, my banks just don't get these types of boxes. So I am okay paying the extra amount. But yeah, they are circulated. I can tell by the ends here. I don't see any wheat pennies on this end here, but the coins have shifted a bit, so it's kind of hard to see. But we're gonna turn it over, and obviously because it's one of the boxes with the holes in them, we can open it live and check for enders on the top side. All right, come on. All right. All right. Oh, look at that, guys. And look at that. There's a wheat penny ender right there. Look at that. Wheat penny ender. Right there. That's pretty cool. I don't see any other enders off the top of my head here, but I'm actually going to turn all these rolls around because, again, as I said, I didn't really get a good look at the other side. So I'm going to turn all these rolls around and see if we have any enders on the bottom. I also wanted to mention a couple other reasons why a couple other reasons that I forgot to mention why I also buy these boxes is, obviously, with most eBay items, right? I'm buying something that I'm keeping for good, right? But obviously, when I'm done finishing with this box, these coins are gonna go back to the bank, right? Because I mean, like, I guess in theory, who knows? Maybe I should be saving even the zinc pennies because they're phasing them out. So who knows? But unlike other eBay items, it's not like you get any of your cash back, right? If I'm buying like a silver dollar or something, I'm not gonna immediately, obviously in theory I could sell it for its silver value, but I'm not gonna immediately get any return on it, right? Because it's like a, coin that I'm keeping for my collection. But with this, so, even though I'm paying like, $50 to $60, I'm still I'm still getting at least a little bit of the money, which again is, in theory, impossible with any other eBay item because this is literally just U.S. currency, And the other thing is, obviously, you also get the copper value. So if there was maybe $4 worth of copper, that wouldn't be too much in copper value, but I'd get to keep the copper as well. All right, so I took them all out of the box, and I checked all. I flipped all the other coins over, and there are no other enders. I did keep the wheat penny ender on its original side, so we do have a wheat penny ender in this box from Texas, so I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, so we're gonna get started, and hopefully this box from Texas will do pretty good. Rob Finds Treasure is in Texas, so Rob, if you see this video, let me know. Is this whatever ends up being in this box? Let me know if it's typical for Texas. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So we have a bit of an update. I know when I made the original intro for this box, it was indicative of it only being a one-box hunt. But just kind of doing a little backtracking here, I don't think I told you guys this, but when I did the Wisconsin box back in like February, I initially wanted to pit it up against one of my local boxes. But and the thing is, usually my penny boxes come in and they've been circulated lately, but I guess this one time that I wanted to pit it up against the Wisconsin box that I had, the box didn't come in. And so I wasn't able to do that, and I wasn't planning on making this like a series or anything. I mean, maybe if I do more, maybe if I end up getting more out-of-state penny boxes, then I might do that. But I wasn't intending on this being like a series or anything. But so the box didn't come in, and I had been holding on to the Wisconsin box for the longest time, so I decided to just hunt it as a one-box hunt. But I was like, you know what? I really want to try again, because my penny boxes usually come in, so there's a good chance that that it will come in this time. So I ordered a box, and it did come in. So that is great, and I should be getting one next week as well. The last penny box I did from my the last local penny box that I did wasn't that great. I mean, we had like, I think like 13 wheat cents total, but it wasn't anything to write home about. So, but this is circulated, and we are going to pit one of my local Washington State boxes versus a box from Texas. So I'm not sure if I said this before, but again, I have nothing to base it off of, like as far as how it's going to do, because I've never hunted a box from Texas. I know Rob Finds Treasure is in Texas, and his boxes do pretty well, so who knows. And as you guys know, we did have that wheat penny ender on this box. There are no wheat penny enders on this box, but we do have kind of a cool ender here. It's on the other side. We do actually have a 1958 Canadian penny, which is, I mean, in theory, if you think about it, it's the equivalent of a wheat penny. So we didn't get a wheat penny, but I'd argue as far as enders go, these boxes are about even. So I thought that was kind of cool. We have a wheat penny as an ender on the Texas box, and true to area, we have a Canadian penny on the end of my local box, because I get a lot of Canadian pennies being bordering Canada. So we're going to get into it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my box, just so that I can get, I don't want to say get it out of the way, but just so I can get a baseline and just see how this box does. You know, just see how another one of my local boxes does. And then we'll get into the real meat and potatoes here, which is going to be the out-of-state box. So this is going to be a battle. I know the intro that I did opening this one live kind of just showed that I was going to do one box, but I did manage to get one. So we're going to pit these two up against each other, and I will get into the first roll, and I'll bring you guys in on my very first find. Alright, I apologize by the janky state of my penny mat. It was folded, and it was on top of another item, and it's very warped right now, so I apologize for that. But I'm on roll number 3 of my box, and got a wheat penny here. Saw it by the date, 1940, out of Philly. It's kind of beat up, but that's our first one. We also did get a Canadian in the first roll, so I will take it, as well as some copper. All right, we're on just about roll number 8 or so, and I got a wheat penny there, and it looks old. It looks pretty dang old. Look at that. Second of the box. 1920. 1920 out of Philly. 105 years old. All right. Well, that's an oldie for this box. That's gonna give it some pretty good points. So I don't. But oh, speaking of points, I don't really have a point system for this. It's kind of just, whatever one seems like it's better at the end. But that's a pretty good coin for this box. 1920 Philadelphia. All right. Well, I think very same roll. I didn't notice it because it was like 1 from the end. But there's another one right here. It looks in much better condition. 57D. All right. We got 3 now. Let's keep going. All right, next roll. Another Wheatie. It looks a little worn. I'd guess 40s though. Oh, look at that. It is almost the 40s. It's close, but we broke pre-40s once again. 1937 out of Philadelphia. It's pretty chewed up on the back, but that is 4 in the box. All right, well, next roll again. Another one back here. 54D. All right, second in the 50s. Let's keep going. All right, I got another date side up one, maybe about 12 or 13 rolls. All right. 1947 out of Philly. It's our, third in the 40s? So we got 50s, 40s, 30s, and 20s. The interesting thing about this box is I haven't gotten any 2025 pennies yet, but I have found some 2025 pennies in some customer wrapped rolls. So I just find it funny that I would think that I would have been finding them in boxes before I would start finding them in customer wrapped rolls, but I don't know. Who knows? All right, let's keep going. All right, got another Wheatie right there. Probably in the 50s. Yep. 1952 out of Denver. 54. All right. That is already 7. All right, got another wheat penny. It's been a few rolls. Yeah, it's actually been quite a few rolls. We got another wheat penny here. 56D. Right, I'm actually gonna put the Canadian penny up there. All right, let's keep going, and we still have that ender to go. All right, including the ender, we have, I'd say, about maybe 18 rolls left, and there's actually 2 wheat pennies in this roll, and that one looks in really good shape, so excited about that. It's probably not going to be that old. This one, 54S. We had a 54D. And let's check out this guy. Wow, that is beautiful. It's got some toning, and it's a 50AD. But that's still in great shape, so I will put it on the board and keep going. All right, guys, it is obverse facing, and I haven't seen the date yet, but that one definitely looks old to me, or old at least as in a wheat penny. Oh, whoa! Look at that 64. Wow, that is in great shape. Yeah, I've been finding a lot of nice copper that I've been pulling out, as well as a few nice zinkers. So zinkins. There you go. 45S, which is our third coin in the 40s. Alright, guys, I got something kind of cool. It's not a wheat penny, but I did, in a previous roll, get another Canadian, another 1981, only my second of the box, which is crazy, but this one was reverse showing, and it is one of those counter-stamped coins. 1976. I got a bunch of these one time. I remember I got kind of a mini collection up, State of Nevada. That's really cool. I do not find those very often, so I will take that. I wish it would be cool if I found one from my state, Washington State, but I don't think I've ever found one. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, so I'm on the last roll of the box, and I opened it up just so I could show you guys that coin, because it's kind of hard to do without the tripod. But there it is, 1958. Only our 4th Canadian of the box. I thought we'd get a lot more actually, but yeah, 1958, so older. And then we did get, contrast to that, a newer one from 1998. It's not copper. Let's just, is this one? No. Alright, let's go through here. Alright. Pulling out copper does make hunts longer, but they officially called it quits with pennies, so I think I made a good call when I started keeping my copper again. Because I initially was planning on just kind of not holding off for a while and deciding to keep my copper when they finally decided to dropped one, when they finally decided to get rid of pennies, stop making them, but they did it a lot sooner than I thought. All right, well, I'll get you guys a wrap up of this first box, and then after that we'll move on to the other box. Alright, so we finished that box, and it was a good box. Unfortunately, it really slowed down towards the end. Although, as I do with these boxes, I will say, obviously I took all the rolls out to check for enders, so who knows, if I left these rolls in their original position, we could have had these 11 total wheat pennies all throughout the box. But I want to say also, this was not a bad box by any means. In fact, this was actually quite a good box because, oh, sorry about the fireworks. Not only did we get more than 10 wheat pennies, but we got a couple oldies as well. So, and usually I'm okay taking one or the other, although I'd prefer to get a box with some oldies. So this was a great box. I was just really hoping that the wheat pennies that we got would continue, and they didn't as much as I hoped they would, but again, it was still a great box. And, the copper was pretty good. I usually do pretty good on copper in my boxes. We had a few from 1959, a couple nicer ones. I'm not going to hold on to them, though. Well, I am going to hold on to them because I'm holding on to my copper, but not separately. I did get a couple other coins of interest. I got this, looks like it might be a grease error. I'm not sure if that's, I don't know, it kind of looks like a grease error. It's not too major, but the of in America's worn off, the E pluribus unum's worn off, and the bottom part of the letters and states are worn off. It's an 85p, so I thought that was kind of intriguing. And then this 81 that is off center enough that I might pull it aside. It's actually a little bit on the back too, so I don't know. It might be major enough that I'll set it aside. As kind of a separate find. We actually did pretty well for really nice coins. I have some in the 90s as well that I thought were really nice that I'll compare against my album. I put the nicest ones on top, by the way, like 91, 92. Man, this 1970 though, look at that. That must have came straight out of an uncirculated roll. Look at that thing. Holy cow, it is not the small date. And then some really nice high relief ones, which I'm always excited to see. This is probably the best one, 64 Philly. There's a few, in fact, I think all of them are actually 68s and 64s. So, kind of interesting. But yeah, some really good, really good choice BU copper cents in that box. And as far as Canadian pennies, we've got that one from 98 that I just showed. These two are from 81. We had that 58 Ender, which is cool, but it was only the only real old Canadian penny in the box, and only the 4th one. Definitely one of the finds in the box, because I don't find these in boxes too much. A Nevada stamped counter-stamped penny. I think they sell these in sets. I know people privately do this as well, but I think you get these ones in sets, at least the ones from 76. I don't know, you'll have to quote me on that. As far as wheat pennies, as I said, we got 11. We got that best in the 50s. This pretty nice 58 with some toning on the back. 57D, 56D, 54S, which is a little bit lower minted for a 50s wheat penny, but still, I think over 50 million, at least almost. 54D, 52D, and then 47 Philly, 45S, and 1940. And we got one in the 30s, 1937 out of Philadelphia. And what I would consider the find of the hunt. It was actually, like, I think only our first or second wheat penny of the box in 1920 out of Philly. It's pretty common. The 17s through 1920, the 17s through 1920 are actually pretty common. So the late teens, wheat pennies, and early 20s are actually pretty common to find. And it's Philadelphia Mint, which makes it even more common. But they're not as common to find in circulation as the 50s, so I will take it. I love finding 100-year-old coins in circulation. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good box. Again, I don't want to speak ill of this box. I kind of just hoped that it would pick up a little bit more than it did. But yeah, it was still a good box. It's definitely given Texas a run for their money. But I will save that wheat penny ender till the end. And we'll get into it and see what we can find. I predict that we'll find virtually, who knows? We might not even find any Canadians in that box, although it's not like we found many in this box either. So let's get into it. All right, we're only in the first roll of the Texas box, and we already have a Wheatie right here. All right, let's see what it is. 1942 out of Philadelphia. All right, very next roll. Got another wheat penny. Again, reverse showing. Another 1942, also out of Philly. All right, well, that's two for the box. Let's keep going. All right, well, we're on roll number 4, maybe, and our old friend is back. We have another 1942 out of Philly. I don't know why those keep popping up. Some other nice ones here. Nice 1975. I don't see any other, wow, whoa, look at the toning on that. That is crazy. All right, let's keep going. All right, well, man, I mean, we got a good number of wheat pennies and a couple oldies in the last box, but, man, we're doing really, really well. And that one looks very nice. That one looks like it's in very good condition. 58D. Incidentally, not a 1942, but that is in pretty dang good shape. So, all right, let's keep going. All right, towards the end of this roll, got another wheat penny. Let's see if it's a 1942 Philly. Oh, wow! Look at that. That's actually a decent date. Holy cow, I did not realize that. I looked at the back, I don't know, it just didn't look old to me, but that is actually a decent date. And mint mark, 1926 out of Denver. That's actually got a little bit of a lower mintage. That is awesome. I will take that. Look at that. That's pretty cool. All right. Wow, okay. Yeah, let's get back to it. All right, I'm on roll number 10, and if you're wondering why these rolls are here, I'm rolling some of the coins up as I'm hunting. But I'm on roll 10, and man, this roll is loaded. Take a look at this. There's a wheat penny here. There's what looks like looks like a wheat penny right there. That looks pretty old. And I see a 1951 back here. So this roll is loaded. This roll is absolutely loaded. 1951 Philly. This one's got to be, yep, another 1942 out of Philly. Wow. Okay, and then I see one here as well. Alright, let's see what these two reverses are. 1942 Philly. I don't know why I keep seeing that year. And 1942 Philly. We definitely got our fair share of those. So, only in 10 rolls. That gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wheat pennies in 10 rolls. Oh, is this? Oh, 1959. Wow. This box. Man, and I thought for sure my box was going to win. I guess I got too cocky there. Well, let's keep going. And we still have a reminder, we still have a wheat penny ender that I will do at the end. Alright, I got another Wheatie. I'd say maybe 15 rolls in. Right there. Right here. 1953 out of Denver. Our newest yet, surprisingly. And, man, we're doing really well. Alright, I got another Wheatie. Maybe 3 rolls later. Right there. It was facing like that. Alright. I don't know what is up with these 1942 Phillies. I don't know why we have so many of them, but hey, they're wheat pennies and I'll take them. All right, well, it's kind of hard to tell what roll we're on because the box is kind of lopsided a little bit, but I'd say we're maybe a little less than halfway through, and we got our old friend is back, another 1942 out of Philadelphia. Wow. All right, let's keep going. All right, well, something like very next roll, we got another. Can you see it? 1942 out of Philly. Holy cow. All right, let's keep going. All right, I got another Wheatie. We have, looks like 14 more rolls to go. I put the copper in here, but this one is showing by the date. Right here, 1946, out of Philly. So another in the 40s, finally. Man, we had all those 1942 Phillies, and we finally got another wheat penny in there. So, oh, is this one? Nope, 65. All right, let's keep going. All right, either a couple rolls later or the very next roll, and there's 2 wheat pennies in this roll. There's a reverse right here. 1944S. We're finally getting some more coins in the 40s. We've stacking up those 42s, and we had gotten that 46, and now we're stacking up. All right, what's this one? Another 1940. It's funny, I just say that and we get another 1942 out of Philly. All right, let's keep going. All right, guys. Well, we had another Wheatie that I totally didn't notice because it is very, very dirty. And I don't know if you can see it, but it's a 1944. The only reason why I noticed it was a wheat penny is because of that reverse, but that is beat up. But it is another wheat penny. Throw the copper in, and we'll keep going. All right, got another one. 5 rolls to go, not including the ender. By the date again. In the 50s, 52 out of Denver. All right. Let's keep going. All right, only 3 rolls to go, not including the ender. And man, these dirty ones really sneak up on you because at first I didn't notice it, but then I saw it was a 1957. So 57 Denver, another wheat penny. I don't even know how many that is now, but we'll keep going. All right, next roll, and I noticed this one by the edge because it had kind of a worn edge, and I dumped it out, and sure enough, got another one. Another 42 Philadelphia. All right, let's keep going. All right, so I was gonna set up the tripod to do this, but I figure since it's just an end coin, and it's not like I'm opening like a, I don't know. I was gonna do the tripod, but I thought I'll just do it like this, and see how it goes. Usually I would, but because I did the entire hunt off the tripod, I figure it would be kind of pointless to do it with it. Alright, so here's the ender. $19.56 out of Philly. I thought for sure it'd be another 1942. Alright, let's... I see some worn edges. Oh, is that another wheat penny right there? No, it's not. Alright, well, I don't see any wheat pennies off the bat here. The copper's been decent. We've had some rolls with a lot of copper, and then we've had like a couple of rolls that have had not much copper at all, so kind of interesting. But yeah, I'll give you guys a recap of both boxes. Alright, I have both boxes set up with the finds, and man, I am not sure who wins this. I would probably say that the Texas box wins it, personally, because, you know, yeah, we only got one real oldie. Yeah, you know, yeah, this box got, like, a counter-stamped coin and an older Canadian, and even Canadian pennies at all, as well as a lot more side finds and more copper, which I'll get to in a minute. But this box had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11 wheat pennies in it. And this box had 21. So, are those good finds really worth... Are 10 more are those good finds really worth 10 more wheat pennies? Not to mention, the one oldie that we did get is a better date. I did check the red book, the blue book, or I guess red book, whichever one, and it's not as low minted as I thought. It has about 30 million, but it's still a little bit lower, and definitely a lower minted than these two, which are both from Philadelphia. So I would say, because we got a date and mint mark that I don't find, and because the box had over 20 wheat pennies, which does not happen for me, let me know, guys. In Texas, is this an average amount of wheat pennies for you guys? But I would personally say the Texas box takes it. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comments. So, you know, you got one oldie, but one oldie, and it's a little bit of a better date. 21 wheat pennies total, or 11 wheat pennies total, a lot more side finds, and more oldies, as well as a counter-stamped coin. I don't know, what would you guys take? So as far as copper, my box actually had a little bit more copper. We have $3 and $3.38 in copper, and this one we have, and in the Texas box we had $3.21 in copper. But that's only like a few cent differential. It was almost exact. I don't know what the percentage is, but when I edit this video, I might put it up. Out of obviously $23, and you know the amounts here out of 25. So going to the box, you know, let's start with the box that we just finished. Obviously the as far as finds go, we got in the 50s, we got 58D that is in pretty good shape. It's in pretty good shape. And also, this 58D, I thought this one was nice, and it still is, but this one's definitely nicer. So yeah, 58D, 57D, although I will say, the quality of coins in this box was better. I will say, like, the physical condition of the coins, as well as the quality of dates in my box, was better. But so yeah, 58D, 57D, 56P, that was the ender. 53D, 52D, 51P, 46P, 44P, 44S, and the strangest part of the box, 11 of the 21 wheat pennies are 1942 out of Philly. I have no idea why that date appeared so much in this box, but we got 11 of that, and then obviously the best find of that box, a 1926 Denver. It's got some corrosion, it's got a bit of environmental damage, but overall it has pretty good detail. We had a few 1959s that, as I said, I'll count as copper. So I guess that this one actually puts it around like 100 or maybe 128 or so, because there's maybe about 7 or 8 1959s here. So we got those. Again, as I said, not as many side finds. We got a few nice zinc pennies that I might check against the book. I got this 2003 that has some gold toning, and it's also, I'm not even showing you guys, and it's also awfully thick. We got kind of a cool toned, it's kind of beat up on the front, but it's kind of a cool tone 1993, as well as a 1980 that has that woody effect. If it's severe enough, I hold on to them, and this one looks pretty severe. So yeah, so those are the finds for that box, and then my box, We had 4 Canadian pennies total. These ones here, and then that oldie, which I'll get to in a minute. As far as wheat pennies, in the 50s, 58D, in good shape, 57D, 56D, 54D and S, 52D, and then the 40s, 47P, 45S, and 1940. And then, as far as, I guess I'll go with side finds next. We did get one nicer 2009 that I didn't initially show, but I did get one nicer 2009 out of Philly. A lot of nice copper cents, both high relief and non-high relief. Mini stack of nice zinc pennies. This 1999 that I pulled out because it's kind of proof-like, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of thicker as well. So, and then we also have that, what I think is a grease strike on the back of this 85 here, and then a 1981 that looks a little bit off-center. And then the best finds of that box, that Nevada counter-stamped coin. I don't think these sell for much. At most, probably like $1. That 1958 Younghead, that was the ender in that box. And then 1937 Philadelphia and 1920 Philadelphia, which again also is the oldest out of the two boxes. But once again, I think that the Texas box wins it, but who knows? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Unfortunately, I probably won't get to do this type of hunt very often because the circumstances just don't usually add up, and I try not to buy the boxes of pennies on eBay too much. So this probably won't happen again unless I do buy another box on eBay, because if I do get another box on eBay, then it's pretty easy for me to put it up against another one of my local boxes, because I have a Chase within, less than 10 minutes walking distance, and I pick up my boxes from there. In fact, I just got a box of pennies this week. So, all right, but yeah, let me know in the comments who you think wins. I think Texas takes it, but with all the side finds in my box and the additional oldies, who knows?